Hey, welcome to Loose Change. Please observe the fine print. We do have fine print, don't we? No, not yet. No. Working on it for you. Working on a really great show. I mean, a great show. You do not want to miss it. I'm Jim Evans. Thanks so much for joining us. Here we are rolling right into summer, and boy, for a while there, a little bit too much rain, heavy rain. It was really backing up on people. It was almost like clockwork, we could count on it. It got to the point where a lot of jewelry stores in the area had a special going, half off on all flood watches. You need that. The Johnny Manziel watch continues. The Browns rookie quarterback out having a lot of fun, I guess as he should, but needless to say, he really has a lot of enthusiasm for the imbibe, if that's the way to put it. And the Indians are going to bring him back for a baseball game before training camp. They're going to have him come out and throw out a pitch. They'll do it when he gets to the bottom of the fifth. You know what? I need to see the rundown list. Now, which writer did that?
You're the writer, Jim?
Oh, that's right, I am. Let's see here. Oh, how about that 11-year-old golfer that played in the U.S. Women's Open? Cute little girl. She was really good. And I was thinking about that. What an experience for her at that age. To be on that stage, at that level with all those professionals. And she got to have an adult carry her golf clubs at 11 years old. When I was that age, I was excited when we got a shower caddy at home. And here we are in July. It's National Hot Dog Month. Over 160 million hot dogs consumed over the 4th of July weekend. 160 million. And that's just at Honey Boo Boo's house. Hey, Mark DeVicchio from the House Band joins us next. You better hang tight. We'll be right back. There we go.
Enjoy the convenience of home phone service from Armstrong. Armstrong Telephone delivers reliability you can't get with a cell phone. All your calling is one low monthly price. No confusing rate plan. Your favorite calling features are included. Check out the exclusive online management tools. Set call forwarding, do not disturb, and more. You can even have your voicemail sent to your email. For great savings, bundle television, telephone, and internet. Armstrong. One wire, infinite possibilities.
Hey, welcome back to Loose Change. I'm Jim Evans, and I have the great pleasure to be joined by Mark DeVicchio, the head man of the great local band, the House Band. Everybody knows about you guys, and thanks so much for being on the show.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And what we do here, we like to have our guests kind of give us a little background, personal type of thing for those who are not familiar. You're from the area. Tell us a little bit about the
House. Well. The House Band or me? I started 12 years old. My mother drove me up South Avenue across from Krakuski Hall to pay my union dues and join the Musicians Union.
Wow.
And it was $12. I paid $12, and I became a union musician in 1978. And I started playing in wedding bands, polka bands, played the polka circuit. Then I went away to high school, and I played in other bands. The House Band started in the late 80s, early 90s. Mm-hmm. I just graduated from college and law school, and my uncle had a place on South Avenue called Jim Dandy's. And we started hanging out there. Different musicians, and we would have jam sessions. And those jam sessions grew over the months, and the same musicians would come out, and people began calling us the House Band. And then they would plan parties around the House Band. They would have a summer party in the winter. They would do some kind of a beach party. Right. They would fill the bar with sand and wear Hawaiian shirts, and it was crazy. And those parties grew, and the House Band lore grew from those parties. And then every place we played after, they just wanted to call us the House Band. They said, well, could you be our House Band? And so that's how the name stuck.
Well, that's cool. Well, we'll get more into that. But at what age did you get the music bug that this is what I'm going to do?
I think I've always had it. It sounds weird to say, but if you look back at the grainy, 16 millimeter videos of old family functions and everything, I was always the little kid playing air guitar and making the faces at 6 years old, 7 years old. And whenever my family would get together, we're from the east side of Youngstown, and I talk about that a lot at the gigs. And
Sure.
A lot of people come up to me and say, hey, we're so proud you mentioned that you're from the east side, a lot of old east siders. So it seemed like somebody always had a guitar. My mother played guitar and sang. My cousins played guitar and sang. My aunts, everybody was musical. And I think back to those days on the east side, especially in the summertime, sitting outside and somebody pulling out a guitar and sitting around and singing, and I was mesmerized. I was always mesmerized. And going to the family weddings, and I would just stare at the bands playing, and that was what I always wanted to do. And I have to give a shout out. There was a guy in the neighborhood on McHenry Street. His name was Nicky Plazo, and I've always said he was the first guy I heard sing and play, and he would sing Chris Christopherson songs, and I just thought he was the greatest musician in the world. I couldn't believe he wasn't famous. And
well, he was to you. So.
Yeah, it was to me. It was kind of got me started on this thing.
I'm sure.
So that's where it all started. I started watching all these people, and I was always impressed that they were able to play an instrument and sing, and it brought so much joy to whatever we were doing. I know it brought so much joy to me. So I started taking lessons, and I immediately, my debut performance in my uncle Jim DeVicchio, he got married like in 1975, and the Tommy LaPresta orchestra was playing, I believe. And I got up at age 9 or 10 and played Proud Mary with the band.
All right.
And I was done. That was it. That was it, for better or for worse. I was in. That's all I wanted to do.
What do you like better in terms of guitar, acoustic or electric, or does it matter?
That's a great question. I like playing in the band. I like playing in the house band.
Yeah.
So acoustic, you think of a solo performer playing acoustic guitar, but I love the camaraderie of being in a band. I love the magic, and we talk about it in the house band now. You just look at each other when you're on stage, and you're really clicking, and the crowd's really into it, and you communicate without saying a word, and that's so much fun. There's merit in both. The acoustic guitar is beautiful, but I'm not that great a guitar player. So I leave that to Michael Baranski in the house band.
Well, you do a pretty good job yourself.
Thank you.
Who would you say were musical influences to you when you were young and as you evolved as a musician?
My early musical influences really,
you mentioned the one.
were the people around me that I saw. Anyone that could make a noise on an instrument influenced me. Anyone. My mother would sing Proud Mary. She'd play an acoustic guitar, and it's still her party piece. She could still do it.
Nice.
So, it's still a thrill every time she does. And whenever someone would play and sing something, I was influenced. In fact, I wanted to play in a band so bad that they needed a banjo player in a polka band. So I tuned it like a guitar and faked my way through many performances in a polka band. So, and that was fun. And I have a lot of stories playing at Kuzman's and playing at the SMPJ campsite, and that polka community
they're dedicated.
They're dedicated, and they maintain their youth because the music keeps them young.
Yeah,
and they dance and they party. And I was 12 years old. I was 13, 14 years old on stage, watching these people having the time of their life. And it's hard not to have that affect you. Mm-hmm. It's hard not to let that touch you somehow. And it becomes part of who you are and who you want to continue to be.
Well, it's good to have that ethnicity, and you have that definitely. Connection here in this community, and I'm sure that...
Very, very ethnic community, absolutely. And I am, although I'm ethnocentric to my heritage, I appreciate all nationalities. I love ethnic food. I love ethnic music. I love people that are into their culture. We're all Americans, and but the people that respect where their grandparents and great-grandparents came from and carry on the traditions. Jim, I grew up in a really traditional ethnic family. My father makes wine, and he still has the Italian music playing every Sunday when we go over there to have the pasta.
Can't beat that.
Absolutely.
Were there maybe musicians or groups on the national scene that really caught you when you were younger and
Well,
influenced
there
you?
I was very Anglo-centric. I loved the British invasion.
Okay.
And, I mean, even though I'm a lot younger than, the typical, that was way, way, way before my time, and I caught it years later. But I was a huge Beatles, Stones, The Who, how can you not be influenced by that? And so those are still my heroes,
Is that those groups and their style? Is that something that you have incorporated in your performance? I would think I see that and hear that.
Well, sure, but we do much more than that. I mean, we do a lot more
Right.
dance stuff, and
Yeah.
we try to be known for party music. So that's what we try to convey and put out.
I guess what I was getting at was, what those bands and those musicians' performers did. Maybe you took for your own individual type of performance on stage, as I've seen you.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, you look at a guy like Pete Townsend, who's very demonstrative.
Yes.
Even now into his 70s, he's very demonstrative. Bruce Springsteen, who, I do believe like he does, you don't really have a good show unless you're exhausted at the end of it. And that's what I try to do. I feel like if I'm, at the end of the night, if I'm not exhausted, then, I held something back.
You told me earlier that you still get nervous before you go on stage after all this time.
I'm petrified now. No, I get nervous before
Well,
I
you're sitting with me, you should be. But
yeah, I get nervous every time before I go on the stage. Absolutely. And somebody told me a long time ago, I was getting ready to play at a wedding, and of the ceremony, I was going to sing "Why Me, Lord," that song that Nikki Plaza did so many years. I was about 9 years old, and I was shaking. And the priest, Father Iotti, said, the day you stop getting nervous is the day you stop caring about what you're doing. He said, so take that nervousness and use it. That's good. That's good that you feel that way. And I try to. It's not always great. The knees knocking is not always a great thing, but.
do you have maybe a method that you work through to get on stage, or is it just like, all right, it's showtime, let's go?
It's the feedback from the crowd. If you start playing and you're giving your all, and you look out there and there's just a bunch of faces sitting there and they're not paying any, or they're paying attention but they're not participating, it makes it tougher. The minute you get that give and take with the crowd, you feed off that, and the minute the sweat starts coming, then forget it, it's on.
Mark DeVicchio, the house band, with us here on Loose Change. We'll take a break. We're going to be right back. You guys should be doing Sharp Dressed Man. Look at this.
Hey, you caught me coming from my day gig.
All right. So we'll be right back. Hang with us.
Bigger smiles, louder cheers, longer talks. Enjoy the possibilities more than ever with Armstrong. Armstrong delivers the latest in television, on-demand, multi-room PVR, high definition. Zoom Internet has the speed and reliability you need for all your devices. And it's all backed by local award-winning customer service to keep you connected. Enjoy the possibilities with Armstrong.
Back in the house on Loose Change with Mark DeVicchio of the house band. Mark, you're out there performing, and obviously you meet a lot of people in doing so, and you also met a very special person out doing so.
I met my wife playing in the band. That's why, we're married 12 years, and I still go out and play every weekend, and she can't say anything because I said, you met me doing this,
Yeah.
You knew what you were in for when you signed on. So, but she's wonderful. She's been my biggest influence. Now that my biggest influence is my wife. She's been my muse. When I write my songs, they're all about her. Every one of them is about her. Or my children, who my son Louis celebrated his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Louis.
Hey, way to go, Louis.
She actually came to a gig a long time ago. I won't say how old she was. I don't think she was old enough to be there. Pretty sure of that. And and we struck up a beautiful relationship. But you know what? I have met so many people that have so profoundly influenced my life through playing either in the band or sharing music or on gigs. I'm a lawyer during the day,
Right.
and and I've met a lot of people that I ended up representing, and a lot of the people that I represent also become friends and people that I'm, care about. And when you've played as long as I have in the different, the lineups with the house band, and in all those polka bands I played in, you meet a lot of interesting characters, and you also meet some people that profoundly influence you.
Yeah, I'm sure. We can't obviously have everybody here in the band, but you mentioned the lineup. Talk about the guys in the band, who they are, and how you guys had that chemistry.
Gladly. Very, very proud of the guys in the house band. They are the best band of musicians I think you could find in this area or anywhere else.
Right. There's no question.
You start with, and I don't know who to start with, so in no particular order.
All right, that's a good lead-in.
I guess let's go with the newest member of the band is Michael Gismondi. He plays bass. And prior to playing in the house band, he played in a little outfit called the Michael Stanley Band.
Ooh,
and
kind of heard of them,
yeah, you might have heard of them. He played on, She Can't Love You, and This Town Is My Town, and he actually was on the Dick Clark American Bandstand, with Michael, and he talks to me about, well, are we playing this date because I might have a gig with Michael, and so unfortunately there's occasions where I lose our bass player to go play with his other band, his secondary band, his side band, the Michael Stanley Band. So, but he's amazing. He's a monster bass player. Kevin Mazie is a keyboard player, one of our keyboard players, one of two. And with the two keyboards, it's like an orchestra. It's like an orchestra. And he is such a fine musician and such a fine guy to have in the band, because the more members you have, it's a relationship like any other relationship. It's like a brother, like a wife, like someone you're around a lot. And the things you like about each other, you like a lot, and you get so involved that, like a brother, when sometimes you get mad, you argue, but Kevin is one of those guys where he's just always a joy. He's just always a joy. He always has a smile on his face. He always gets into it. Then you have our drummer, Carmen Speziel, who is like the rock solid drummer, like the foundation, I say the foundation upon which we built this house, and he is just always in the pocket. He's so dedicated, so reliable, so there for you. And after that, you have Michael Baranski, who is the best guitar player I've ever played with. He's a monster guitar player. And he's been out on the circuit, and he was a working musician in Chicago, and he has a history of working with James Young from the Styx. Have you ever heard of Styx?
Sure.
Well, he worked with Styx for a number of years and was actually the lead guitar player for James Young's band, and Glenn Burtnick he worked with. These are major acts, and I'm spoiled because they learn things so quickly and they play them so impeccably. You talk about just perfect pitch and listen to something once and play it exactly like you Xeroxed it. And the last guy is the guy I've been with the longest, Wesley Skywalker O'Connor, who is our other keyboard player. He's the band director for Austintown Fitch High School. So he makes his career, his career is music. And I've always been kind of protective of I'm a little bit older than him. And it seems like when he joined the band, he was right out of high school, because he was right out of high school, and he went into this, this band that developed into something really wonderful. And he left us for a while to go pursue his degrees in music and followed his studies and came back. He couldn't get away from it. So I think that's everybody. That's five guys, right? On to, and I have to mention, Bill German runs our sound, and Carmen and I were just talking at the last gig, and Carmen said, Bill is like the seventh member of the house band, because he knows what we do. He knows how the songs should sound. He's a musician. He has a long storied history of playing locally 5 nights a week around here, 6 nights a week. And he's the best at what he does. And I've been lucky enough to surround myself with 6 guys who are the best at what they do. Sure. And from that point on, everything I do is easy. It's you get up there and fake it.
How do you, well, you're doing more than faking, but how do you guys arrive at, what you want to play? I know the theme is, you're out there, you're the party band, you're having fun. I know that's the underlying theme. But,
well, oh my God, we've played so many different kinds of music over the years. I mean, the house band goes back 25 years. Okay. 25 years. I was 6 years old when I started the house band. So, I mean, I was young. I was a young guy. And no, a little bit, but so we've played, there's so many songs. You're going to play so many different songs. Yeah. And all the weddings, even the weddings I played with the polka bands, you find out what songs strike a chord. And you always remember, you get to a point, I think if I could do anything decently, it's read a crowd. I think that's where maybe my talent lies. And I think maybe that's my contribution to the house band, is I try to read the crowd, and I pretty much call the songs off the top of my head. I rarely go in with a set list. If we're opening for a national act, and we've played with Kool and the Gang, David Lee Roth, Blue Oyster Cult, Eddie Money on multiple occasions, Michael Stanley, we've shared the stage, Donnie Iris, just a long, nice list. Yeah. Grand Funk Railroad. But anyway, if we're playing an hour set or a 45-minute set, and they want us to focus on some original music, then I'll have a set list. Mm-hmm. But when we're playing a nightclub, a bar, a wedding, a party, a backyard barbecue, we just go and we find out what the crowd enjoys, and that's what we do. Typically, the guys maybe will hear a song, and they'd say, well, how about if we play this one? And normally it'll be way out of my range, and I'll say, well, I can't sing that. I mean, but we find ways to do it.
And we have a CD that you guys have put together here. The house band, Lucky One. And, the Lucky One, the best time I ever had, Need You Tonight, Let's Get Started, Love Like That, beginning and end.
This is our latest.
This is your newest
Yes,
effort?
this is we have 3 original CDs, and incidentally, they're available on iTunes. If you want to go, we put them on iTunes a while ago, so all the songs are available on iTunes. Cool. And I mean, you could tell by the titles that somebody influenced those songs somewhere along the lines. And the title track is how lucky we are. We're lucky.
Good stuff. And we talked about you being a guitar player, but when I've seen you perform, your passion, your energy in your vocals, you're a true performer. You do a tremendous job.
Thanks,
talk about what's that like to be up there to you have that going.
To be honest, I think part of it is you just, when you're doing something like that, you can't do it halfway. No, you can't. No, because the people that watch you are going to say, you're a poser, or it's a joke, or you're not. I do it probably 120% because that's the only way I know how to do it. And when you throw yourself into what you do it because you love it. And it brings such a joy. And it's such a release from what I do, from how I earn my living primarily. Right. It's nice to bring joy to people instead of, conversely, trying to help them maybe find the joy.
Yeah, you guys sure do that when I've seen you. And if you've yet to see the house band, make the effort to do so, or certainly check out some of the tracks in the CD that we showed you. We're running out of time. We're going to have a sample of some of the house band's performance, but month of July, give us an idea where you guys might be at if you're able.
Tomorrow night, this probably won't air by then. We're at Newton Falls, and I didn't even look at the schedule before you.
Well, you're going to be out there, so.
Okay, it's wedding season, so we're playing our weddings, but I see a lot of people at the wedding seasons. We have St. Pat's Festival is coming up. Some of the church festivals. Mm-hmm. I should have looked at the calendar before I did this.
Check out a local establishment near you.
Check out the website, the House Band, www.thehouseband.com, Facebook, Youngstown House Band. There's all those
out there.
Media things that I'm not very savvy with, but you could probably find it.
All right. Buddy, thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Mark DeVicchio, the House Band. We'll be right back and wrap it up here on Loose Change. Stick with us.
Armstrong Local Programming features our community like no one else. Meet your friends and neighbors at special events. Find the perfect pet. Celebrate our region's rich history or enjoy our natural wonders. Armstrong Local Programming is available online, on demand, and on your local Armstrong channel. Find the complete program schedule at ArmstrongOneWire.com. Local programming, exclusively from Armstrong. One Wire, infinite possibilities.
Hey, that's going to do it for our show. Thanks so much to Greg Roten, Mark DeVicchio, his son Giovanni. I'm Jim Evans, and we're going to leave you with some of the house band's performance from last year's Armstrong Summer Concert Series. And it's all right here on Loose Change. Catch it. Hit it, boys.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.